Hello and welcome to the hands-on lab for Microsoft Teams. So let's jump into setting up an app in Microsoft Teams. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be going through the lab manual. So the lab manual that you got in your download, so in your extracted zip file, here, lab number 2. Module number 2 here. I'm going to go through this. I'm just going to go through these step by step, and I'm going to go through it here in real time. So if we hit any bumps, you can see how to fix them as well, which is part of that learning process as well. So let's go through it. First of all, let's make sure we've met our prerequisites. You need to make sure that you have imported the package in the lab setup. Make sure you've done that. You've got a tenant and an environment that you can work in, and then ready to go. So first of all, we need to set up teams. So in this exercise, we're going to change the team policy to allow custom app uploading, and we're going to create new channels and new teams and that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. Log into your tenant, your demo tenant that you've set up, and you want to go into the waffle here, and you want to click into admin. Let's go to admin. This will open up the Microsoft Admin Center. And we're going to show all, and the admin centers at the bottom there's one for Teams. Click on that. There is a direct link to the Teams admin center in the PDF. There's no need to go through that if you just click on the link and it will take you there. Skip the tour. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Teams apps and set up policies. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that our policies allow us to upload custom apps. So we're going to go into the global org-wide default policies, and we're going to make sure that this is ticked to on. So if you're doing this in your work environment, not a good idea to do this. Do it in your work environment. In a demo environment first to play around with it. And then I'm going to click on save down here, click on save. And that's updated that. What we're going to do now is open up the Teams web client. So again, in the waffle, I can click on Teams and open up Teams. If you've got Teams installed and logged in, it might be messy because of the different environments. Like if you're using Teams for work, then I'd advise doing it in the browser. If you're not using Teams and you can download software, feel free to download the Teams client. It's the same experience that we're going to go through here. So it's totally fine, whichever you prefer. So if you do get asked to get the Windows app, just click on use the web app instead. If you do get that prompt and you prefer to work in the web, I highly recommend working in the web unless you can install software and that kind of thing. But highly recommend doing it on the web. So we're going to use this browser tab quite a lot. So I'm going to move this over to this far side over here so that it's always there. We don't need Power BI anymore. We may need that. Well, let's leave all those open, but Teams I'll put at this end here. So we're going to, if you click on Teams here, I'm going to create a team. I'm going to create it from scratch. And we want it to be a private or public. Really, if you're in a test tenant, really doesn't matter. For our purposes, let's use private, but because it's we'll just use private, but it doesn't really matter in your test tenant. Device ordering and device procurement. So this is going to be a channel dedicated to the device ordering process. And click the team. Excellent. So let's add some names. Let's add Walter and Jesse. Add those. And click close and dismiss that. So we're going to add another channel here. So this is the team. The team is called device ordering. These are channels. So these are different channels where you can create conversations inside channels, and each channel can have different tabs going across the top here. So we're going to add a channel. Add a channel. And it's going to be employee orders. Channel for orders. Standard. And add. I'm just going through the lab manual here. We're going to add another channel. It's going to be called purchasing managers. And it's going to be private. And we'll click skip on that. We'll come back to that later. So notice that we've got a couple of things here. You've got a general channel that everyone's got access to. We've got employee orders that everyone's got access to. And we have purchasing managers that has got this little icon next to it because that's locked. It's private. So we've added members to the team. Let's have a look at the members here. Manage the team. Here's different. You can see the members that are included here. So they need to be. So people need to be added to this, to the channel before they can be added to the team before they can be added to a channel. So let's add members to this private one. Let's just put Walter in here. And close. So in the demo, you've got some users that are set up as part of a training course. But for you guys doing it on your own, like just make sure you've got one or two users that you've created in your environment. And we're going to change one of these to be an owner. So we're going to change Walter to be an owner here. And that's that. So now what we're going to do is, so we've set up our team now. So we have a team here. We've got 3 people in it. We've got the admin account. We've got two employees, Walter, who's also a purchasing manager, and Jesse, who is an employee in ordering here as well. So we're going to leave that open. We're going to go, now we're going to import our Power App. So what we need to do is we need to go to our Power Apps maker portal, which is make.powerapps.com. I'm going to go into solutions. We're going to go into apps. And in apps, we've got device ordering app. And what you'll see is in the ellipsis here, there is an option for add to teams. So we're going to click on add to teams. And we're going to download app. We're not going to add to teams directly. We're just going to download app and save the app package. So here it is, device ordering app.zip. So we're going to add this app to the Teams store. So we're going to go back into the Admin Center for Teams. Oh, sorry, we're going to go to Teams here. I'm going to go to Apps. And scroll right down here. Apps, manage apps, upload a custom app. That's a little bit different to the screenshots in the manual. And here's our app. Click on that. And we're going to add, but we're going to let's just make sure I got that right. So upload an app to your org's app catalog. Make sure you use that one. So that's what's changed here. So we want to upload an app for your org's app catalog. So click on that. Device ordering app. Open. Of course, you can submit an app to your organization. This is where you can build apps and distribute them. You can either upload them just for yourself, or you can upload them for the store, or for submit them for someone to review. So here is the app. So the app's there. So you can see that there by built for your org, and that will show you the app there as well. So going to Teams, and we're going to add this app to a tab within Teams. So here is our employee orders channel. You click on the plus button here, and here's a list of all the different apps and files and different apps that you can add here. And we're going to search for device. And you'll see now our device ordering app is available. So click on that, and I'm going to click add. And this will add your app to the tab. And click on save. And you'll see here that now we have the app directly showing inside Teams here. And you can see so that's a way of showing a Power App inside a tab in a channel. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is actually showing it on the bar over here. So if I click on the ellipsis there and find an app, it's there already, device ordering. If I click on device ordering, then that will appear here, and I can right mouse click and pin, and that will now show that app there as well. So there's a few ways of actually getting to that app. So I can see it here on a tab. If I prefer, rather than working in this area here, maybe I want to see it as a bigger screen there, and you can do that as well. So that's that. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to actually do a little bit of PowerAutomate stuff. So in our, let's go back to Teams, and so that's the app created there. We're going to go to Purchasing Managers, and we're going to add a tab here, and we're going to add PowerAutomate. So you can see PowerAutomate inside Teams as well. So add PowerAutomate, add that. And you'll get a little dialog that pops up in a second. I'm going to click on save. So this is another way of getting to PowerAutomate from within Teams. And here you can see all the flows that I've got access to are going to show in here, which is pretty cool. Everything showing in the same space. And again, I could, if I wanted to, add PowerAutomate as a tab over here. But for the sake of this exercise, let's stick with this. What we may need to do actually, we'll come back to this tab. So we've added that as a tab. We may need to go into the PowerAutomate interface to edit the flow. So let's go into Power Apps, and we're going to go into Solutions and the App in a Day Completed Solution and the flow, the cloud flow here. So we're gonna edit that. So edit. So in the new device approval request, so for those of you that don't know PowerAutomate has a solution called Cloudflows. Cloudflows are part of PowerAutomate, and Cloudflows have connectors, actions, and triggers. So here, what this flow is saying is it's saying when a new record is created in Dataverse in the device orders table. So this here is a connection to Dataverse. And it's saying that, so this is the trigger, this is what starts the automation. When a new record is created in the environment, in the table called device orders, then it will start and wait for an approval. So it creates an approval inside the Approvals app, and it has these characteristics here. So this is using the approvals connector to connect to the approval app, and then it's using, so that's the connector that it's using, and then it's using an action. So this is called an action, an approval action. And then depending on what the answer is on this approval, so if this approval is yes, if the outcome is approved, so if the outcome of this is approved, then it will go down the yes channel and it will do these things here. If it's no, it will go down these things here. So you can see it's updating a record, it's sending an email, and it's posting a message to Teams as the flow bot to a particular user. So you can see the idea there of what it's doing. We're not going to go into too much detail here about PowerAutomate. It has other things. This here is Cloudflows, where it's talking API to API. There's also a robotic process automation component with PowerAutomate. And if you want more information on this, then check out our PowerAutomate Basics course. We'll go through that in a lot more detail. Even just watching the overview, the first two modules in that course, you'll get a good understanding of what PowerAutomate can actually do. But that's just a very quick overview of what that is. And what we're going to do in this instance is we're going to add an action that will do something in Teams. So in between add a new step here. So you see that insert a new step, click on that, and we're going to add an action. I'm going to create an approval. in the Approvals app. Create an approval. And what we're going to do is copy things from here into here. So the approval time is the approval type is first to respond. I'm just going to open that one and we're just going to copy and paste things from here. So Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. That one doesn't copy, so what we'll do is we will just go here and choose Approver down here. Item link, don't need, and that we don't need any advanced options. Requestor is the requestor. Requested by. Okay, so once you've copied that data, so what we've done here, we've started and waited in approval, so we want to actually remove that one. So we're going to remove this. So we've replaced that original approval with this new one that we've created here. Just incidentally, this content here, this box here, it's just because the trigger is when a record is created in Dataverse. You'll see that this dynamic content shows the record that was created. So all the data that's in that record that started this particular workflow is available to us to work with. So that's what we're doing here when we edit this down around here. So we've created an approval in this step. What we're going to do now is we're going to insert a new step and we're going to add another action. And this time we're going to leverage Teams. So there is a Teams connector. So click on Teams and we're going to post a choice of options as the Flowbot to a user. We're going to click on that one. Sorry, wrong one. We need to delete that one and delete that. It's actually add an action. It is still Teams, but this time it is post adaptive card in a chat or channel. Post adaptive card. Nope. Okay, so I think it's post adaptive card and wait for a response. So it's different to what's in the manual. The manual says something like so the manual here says post your own adaptive card as a Flowbot to a user. I think it was in preview when this was created. So what it actually is post adaptive card and wait for a response. So click on that one. So post as Flowbot. Yep, that's right. Cool. Post as Flowbot. Post in chat with Flowbot. And then now you should get the recipient. Yep, so the recipient. Cool. So the message now in the create an approval, there is already, so the adaptive card, it requires some code, some JSON code that you can that you build. But one of the responses from the create and approval action is that it will give you that code already. So this Teams adaptive card, you choose that, that's the message, and that can be the same, and the recipient here is going to be the approver, so the recipient is the approver. And the final thing we want to do is wait for an approval. So we click on add an action, and now in approvals, we're going to wait for an approval. And the ID is the one that we created up here, approval ID. So what the approval, how the approvals things work is you create an approval. So you can either create and wait for an approval, and then the wait action will then restart once the approval has been accepted or approved or denied. But in this instance, we are creating, then doing something with that approval, and then waiting for the approval. So we create the approval here, we do this, then we wait. Whereas before, what we were doing is we were creating and waiting at that particular step. But we need to have a create and a wait separate so we can do something in the middle with that creation of the approval. And what we want to do here is click on here. You'll notice that because we deleted the thing up here, the action, this is now vanished. So I want to go into here and we want to go to outcome. So in the wait for an approval, the outcome. And then we click on save. So we've now changed this workflow. We've had a quick look at PowerAutomate, and we've changed the workflow now to do something else with Teams. And we click on back. Make sure that it's on, which it is. Okay, now we've modified it. Let's test it. So we're going to actually run the app itself. So we're going to go into the app. Let's check a couple of these. Let's check that one and that one, maybe that one and that one. Compare. This needs to be yourself. Make sure this is yourself here, and then click on submit device request. And then click OK. Now what will happen is we should get a chat coming through here. I did get a message that approvals wasn't provisioned yet, so it may take a short while for the approval to work, or the approval to fire up. Yeah, so create an approval. It's now provisioning the approvals app. So hopefully we should see it come through in a second. Just by way of update, it is taking quite a while for approvals to provision, so it may just be a while for it to show up. But I'll come back. We'll keep an eye on it. But it's been running for 3 minutes now, and I think that's because it is still provisioning the. If I go into edit and look at the flow checker, this gives a clue what's going on yet. So the approvals database provisioning job is still in process. So the reason why it's not working right now is because we don't have approvals provisioned, and it's doing that automatically on the first run. So we'll just give it some extra time to do that, and eventually we should see it working. but it might take a while. It might take a while, yep. So it's done one retry. So I'm going to pause it and we'll come back in a second. Okay, so it did work in terms of I got this in approvals here, in the approvals app. Let's just pin that. So here I did get an approval, but then it failed. So something failed in it. So let's go here and see what failed. So I'm going to click in here. Let's have a look, see what failed. Posting adaptive card actions on the team script that does not wait for, right, okay, so we need to finish this, we need to edit this. So we go in here, we've used the wrong thing here. So I'm going to click and add an action, and we want to post adaptive card. Post adaptive card in a chat or channel. All right, so we're posting it as the Flowbot, and we're posting it in a chat with Flowbot, and then this time we want the adaptive card here, and the recipient is the approver. So what happened there was, don't need two of those, just need one of them. So the error there, let's fix this up. So the error there was that I was posting an adaptive card and waiting for a response, but then this adaptive card JSON here is actually waiting for a response on the approval. So there was two things vying for the response. So what we've done is we've changed it to post adaptive card, and it's the approval that wants the response, not the adaptive card. So we're going to delete this. And there's nothing else we need to do. So click on save. And now to test it, what we can do is we can actually click on the test button here. And I think we'll be able to run a previously failed attempt. So click on test, manually or automatically with a recently used trigger, this one, and click on test, and that will run through it again. But this time it should be quicker because we have the approvals app already provisioned. There's no need for it to do that again. So it has done that, and what we'll see is in here, so in approvals, we should see another approval appear here. Yep, there it is. And in chat, we should get a nice little adaptive card to approve or reject. So all of the code that builds this adaptive card is generated from that create an approval, which is pretty neat. So we've deployed that into Teams. So we've done some pretty cool stuff there in this lab. So we've added the app to the organization. We've added it to our sidebar here, our available apps. We've created a team and added the app inside a team itself. So inside here, we've got the device ordering app visible there as well. And also in purchasing managers, we've put a window into PowerAutomate. What we're going to do now is add Power BI to the same team as well. So in the purchasing managers channel, we're going to add another tab. And this time I'm going to do Power BI. Let's click on Power BI. And it's going to ask you for a workspace. And in your workspace, we're going to use that one which we created. I'm going to change the tab name. Rename. So here you can see within Teams, you've got the PowerAutomate for the approvals, and you have the reporting tab as well. Maybe actually the approvals app is a better app here to have rather than PowerAutomate. Yeah, it's here anyway. So you can see here that you've got the reporting now available inside Teams as well. You've also got a chat bubble here, so you can chat about the report. Hey, this report looks good. And you can at people, so you can say, Walter, check this out. Just for those of you that don't know what you can do in Teams, so you can chat about the report here, and yeah, that's how to surface an app in Teams. You've got that workflow of uploading just for yourself or to the organization, or submitting the app for the organization. You can add different like Power BI reports and create your own wonderful little areas of collaboration and tailor them to however you want to work. We are going to come back to this lab. That's it for now. That's it for now. We've set up Teams, we've imported the Power App, we've updated the automation, we've seen PowerAutomate, a little bit of PowerAutomate. We've added Power BI reporting into that same Teams channel. In a later lab, the recording just underneath this one, we will add Power Virtual Agent Bot to Teams, but make sure that you do the Power Virtual Agents lab before you do that. And that's the next lab, and we'll see you then.